In today's news, DPP Office refutes Walayn's statement, accuses him of attempting to influence jurors. Rymer eyes early 2023 completion of the Market Square. Health officials are eyeing Ebola and monkeypox. A VI delegation attends World Route 2022 and a diabetes management webinar series coming in November. In addition, public officers are trained on Central Fisher's GIS database. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns.
Freeze. Choose your mix. Choose your flavor.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Welcome everybody. It's Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. I'm Ron Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. A happy Wednesday to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast that is on the local scene, the Ministry of Communications and Works anticipates the completion of works at the Market Square within the first quarter of 2023. The reveal was made by Deputy Premier, Minister for Communications and Works, the Honorable Rymer, while he addressed the House of Assembly recently.
The Ministry of Communications and Works commenced in earnest the works at the Market Square in 2021, and we are anticipating the completion of this project will be in the first quarter of 2023. Honorable members and the public would be pleased to know that to date we have installed over 1,000 linear feet of water lines to ensure that all the kiosks at the Market Square have potable water. We have also installed electrical lines to power the kiosks and the other structures of the Market Square. The drainage switch system has also been constructed and is in place, and we have installed 15 solar lights for the lighting of the general area. To date, Madam Speaker, 12 of the 16 kiosks are near to being completed, and the remaining 4 kiosks are slated to be completed by December 2022. The bandstand building has been completed and will serve as a central gathering point for any events to be conducted at the Market Square. The bathroom building is currently being constructed and should also be completed by December 2022, which would provide a total of 8 stalls combined for male and female and would be fully handicap accessible. Madam Speaker, the construction of the service road to access the Market Square is currently ongoing and should be completed by December 2022.
Minister Rymer noted to date that the bandstand building has already been completed and is ready to serve as the central gathering point for any events conducted at the Market Square. Additionally, an 8-stall handicap accessible bathroom facility, bus shed, and service access roads are slated for completion by the end of the year. Rymer noted that the process has been subject to new stipulations and outlines at the new Procurement Act, to which his ministry has adhered to by utilizing restricted tenders in the bidding process.
The advent of the new Procurement Act requires that a competitive bid process be undertaken, even for petty contracts or works less than $100,000. The Ministry of Communications and Works had been using restricted tenders to engage contractors for the works at the Market Square project, even prior to the Act coming into force. Madam Speaker, as part of the requirements of the new procurement legislation, procuring entities such as my ministry are required to use the contractor database managed by the Ministry of Finance to obtain registered contractors who are subsequently invited to bid on petty contract works. To date, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Communications and Works have invited over 30 different contractors taken from the contractor database to submit bids for works at the Market Square for 6 different petty contract works. Shortly, we would be soliciting bids from landscape contractors for the landscaping works at the Market Square. Also, bids will be solicited for the supply and installation of shutters for the 16 kiosks.
Rymer also urged or used this opportunity rather to address the questions being targeted to his ministry in regard to the kiosks, their use and eligibility for renting.
The Ministry of Communications and Works, along with the Junior Minister for Trade and Economic Development, Honorable Shireen Flax-Charles, and other personnel from the Department of Trade, Investment, Promotion and Consumer Affairs, have been conducting meetings to develop a comprehensive application and evaluation process whereby interested persons and vendors can apply for one of the 16 kiosks that will be available at the Market Square upon completion. It is anticipated by the end of the year an announcement will be made to the general public for persons to apply for a kiosk and the process that will be followed in allocating them to qualifying applicants.
Following the announcement of his arrest and being officially charged, that is former Education Minister Myron V. Walayn, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has acknowledged the statement issued by the former Education Minister Myron Walayn. In a statement of its own, the DPP expressed its disappointment, they say, and accused Walayn of attempting, and quote, to adversely influence the potential array of jurors who will eventually decide his fate and the fate of other persons similarly charged. Such rhetorics, they say, only serve to undermine the course of justice in the territory. The DPP's statement also sought to clarify the course of events which took place during the investigations which ultimately led to Walayn's arrest on November 1st. They said, contrary to Mr. Walayn's assertions, an incomplete investigative case file was submitted in 2020, and the same was quickly returned to the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force to conduct further investigations. However, the case files were never completed by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force at that stage. The decision was made to bring in an independent team of financial investigators from the United Kingdom to review the investigation, and that review commenced in early 2021. The review was done to ensure that the investigation was completed fairly, transparently, and to standard. Now, the Office of the DPP has reaffirmed that all its proceedings are done in accordance with the law and stated that it strongly refutes the erroneous and unfounded statements which suggested otherwise. The re-emergence of Ebola and the continuous presence of COVID-19 and monkeypox were highlighted by health officials during the recent International Infection Prevention Week ceremony that was held at the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital. Now, some of the speakers at the ceremony, which was held on the 18th of October, were Chief Medical Officer Dr. Ronald Georges, Acting Chief Executive Officer Dr. June Samuel, and Infection Control Manager Ms. Rosa Rivera Seaman. A constant theme at the ceremony was the fact that infection prevention and control is always a requirement within the healthcare. In this regard, the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic were lamented and concerns for further outbreaks also noted. In addressing these possible outbreaks, CMO Dr. Georges stated, and I quote, "Looking forward to the future, we have to build on the foundations of the past. We have to understand the new challenges of re-emerging and emerging infections. We have to also understand how we as healthcare professionals can introspect in ourselves and influence our behaviors and those around us." In her remarks, the BVI Health Services Authority CEO Dr. June Samuel noted that not only are there infections control concerns about diseases currently abroad, such as Ebola and monkeypox, but also local emergent diseases such as hand, foot, and mouth, as well as respiratory tract illnesses in children. Dr. Samuel stated, and I quote, "I dare to say that as a community have fallen off because recently we had an outbreak of hand, foot, and mouth disease in our daycares, and now we are seeing the ER in the ER, children coming through with respiratory tract illnesses. We are not doing the things that we should do. We need to do the things we should do to keep ourselves safe. Meanwhile, Infection Prevention Manager Ms. Rivera Seaman admonished all to be vigilant about infectious diseases. She warned that Ebola was coming back. She said, and I quote, "There's no way we can go back to the way we used to live. Imagine COVID-19 is still very present, and here comes monkeypox. Ebola is also raising its head again. There's current outbreak as we speak in Uganda, but again, because of science and the headway that has been made, there are 6 candidate vaccines in the works right now for this new strain of Ebola. Understandably, the rapid rise in the spread of Ebola across 5 districts in Uganda have alarmed scientists and raised fears that the outbreak may not be easy to contain. With the advent of world travel, all it takes is one case, one person to leave Uganda, and God forbid, we may be facing something similar to COVID-19, she added. Now, viewers, International Infection Prevention Week is organized annually by the Association for Professionals in Infection Control and Epidemiology. This year marked an important milestone, 50 years of APIC. The recent observance was held from October 16th to the 22nd under the theme, "The Future is Infection Prevention, 50 Years of Infection Prevention." The week of activities highlighted decades of infection prevention while inspiring the next generation of infection preventionists. When 284 News returned, HE Dr. June Sumer to participate in the UWI Open Campus BVI 2022 local graduate recognition ceremony, and public officers trained on Central Fisher's GIS database. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Jos Van Dyke, not forgetting Anigada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
There's a reason you get up on a morning. A reason you pick yourself up, start the day. Maybe it's sheer grit. Maybe it's your ethics. Maybe it's because you know people like you are waiting for people just like you. We all have our reasons, and for Republic Bank, that reason is you. Every little thing, every big thing. It's all about making a difference in your life. Because after 182 years, if it's one thing we're sure about, is that the difference is you. We're here to help.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Viewers, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Her Excellency Dr. The Honorable June Sumer, Chair of the University of the West Indies Open Campus Council, will be participating in the UWI Open Campus British Virgin Islands Graduate Recognition Ceremony for today, November 2nd, 2022. Now, the ceremony was scheduled and took place earlier today at the UWI Open Campus site in Parakeeta Bay and was a celebration of the BVI members of the university's class of 2022. The 8 UWI Open Campus graduates were conferred with their degrees during the recent virtual graduation ceremony on October 15th, 2022. Akelia Smickle was awarded the Associate of Science in Paralegal Studies, with Kimwana Walsh, Destiny Durant, Laurelie Laurent, Sidwana Stewart-Stone and Latoya Winter were awarded Bachelor of Science degrees in Accounting, Psychology, Human Resource Management, Political Science, Banking and Finance, and Educational Leadership and Management, respectively. Nadria Singh received the Master of Science in Management, Marketing, and Shonda Chowell Walters was awarded the Master of Science in Education Leadership. Ambassador Sumer, who is currently in the BVI on other official business, will deliver the keynote address and present the graduates with their degree certificates. We want to take this opportunity to congratulate the graduates of UWI Open Campus here in the British Virgin Islands. Public officers at the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, Ministry for Natural Resources and Labor, and the Premier's Office have been trained on the Central Fishers GIS database that is being developed for handover to the government of the Virgin Islands. Now, the training and wider marine governance discussions was conducted from October 24 to the 28th by representatives from the United Kingdom Government's Centre for Environment, Fisheries and Agriculture Science. The resource persons were Senior GIS Analyst Dr. Roti Martinez, GIS Analyst Mr. William Proctor, and Senior Scientific Advisor of UK CFAF Dr. Lilia Fonseca. Assistant Fisheries Officer at the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, Abby Christopher, said, and I quote, "We are excited for the opportunity to implement what we have learned during the course of this training for better fisheries management within the territory. The database will improve the storage and analysis of fisheries data to support research and decision-making for fisheries management and development within the territory." Dr. Lilia Fonseca stated, and I quote, "This in-country visit has been an extremely valuable opportunity for CFUS GIS specialists to share expert knowledge and to tailor project outputs to the unique requirements of the government of the Virgin Islands." The visit by the representatives to the Virgin Islands was a part of the Darwin Plus founded project, Capacity Building in Fisheries, Evidence, Networks and Management Virgin Islands, which aims significantly to enhance the knowledge and capacity of the government of the Virgin Islands, its staff, fisherfolk, and key fisheries stakeholders for fisheries management. The project also seeks to improve the coalition and display of fisheries data and evidence. The Ministry of Health and Social Development is seeking, they say, to standardize the approach to diabetes management through a series of webinars. These sessions are intended for clinicians, medical professionals, caretakers, and persons with diabetes and will be held on November 8th, 15th, and 22nd. Again, those dates are the 8th, 15th, and 22nd via the WebEx platform. Chief Nursing Officer Ms. Jacinth Hanwell said that the webinars will be tailored to the Caribbean Public Health Agency guidelines on the management of diabetes in primary care within the Caribbean. Ms. Hannibal said, and I quote, "This model provides a strategic approach to improving diabetes health outcomes by providing simple directives on key aspects of care for persons with diabetes. The objective of the webinar series is set to improve the effectiveness and quality of care by standardizing clinical practices and reducing costly and preventable mistakes and adverse events. The ministry supports, they say, the guidelines for use in all primary health care settings, including private and public facilities." The Chief Nursing Officer said, and I quote, "Medical Officer at the BVI Health Services Authority, Dr. Shana K. Fraser, stated that the model utilizes a client-centered approach to care where a team of healthcare providers are involved in diabetes management rather than only a doctor or nurse within the facility. The guidelines," she said, "seeks to optimize the care delivered to persons living with diabetes in the VI. Dr. Fraser added, "Our goal is to improve quality of life by minimizing the development of complications and death, also to mitigate at a population level prevention, risk reduction, and early diagnosis of diabetes." Clinicians and healthcare practitioners are encouraged to register for the November 8th session entitled Evidence-Based Treatment Protocols for Diabetes. Doctors, nurses, caregivers, and persons with diabetes should also register for the November 15th session entitled Healthy Lifestyle Counseling. And primary care providers should register for the November 22nd session titled systems, and monitoring. Now, viewers, all sessions begin at 6 p.m. and registration links are available on our websites. Diabetes, as you know, commonly known as high blood sugar, is a chronic illness which extends across individuals' lifespan, affecting families and communities here in the Virgin Islands, within the Caribbean as well as the globe. The Caribbean Public Health Agency, of which the VI is a member state, reported that within English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean, diabetes remains one of the top 3 causes of death, accounting for between 8 to 12% of deaths annually. Viewers, when 284 News returns, the VI delegation attends World Routes 2022 and CIBC First Caribbean introduces and announces the 4 new scholarships which are in the name of retiring first female CEO. We have the details when we return.
You value traditions. Today, you value music. You value education. Family. I love you. Service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Yo, everything good, Dad? Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy. What do you mean? Ever since I hook up with this thing, I can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home. What do you really? Hey, this ain't like you, know? Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out that trouble me. Wow. What's your name is? Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hook, I tell you.
Hello?
Wait, you had a long time. You say you were sick? What happened to over the rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.
Viewers, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Continuing on the local scene, the Virgin Islands delegation led by Minister for Communications and Works, Deputy Premier of the Virgin Islands, the Honorable Kai M. Rymer, to the recently concluded Route World 2022 Forum in Las Vegas, USA, is said to have scored some very promising leads for increasing airlift to the territory. The delegation also included officials from the VI Airports Authority, headed by Managing Director Mr. Kurt A.G. Minnow, and Director of Tourism, Mr. Clive McCoy. According to Minister Rymer, most of the airlines were very intrigued by what the VI has to offer as a travel destination, and several expressed interest in having further discussions for route development. We received multiple requests, he said, to supply further technical information for airlines to review their position on flying to the BVI and request for follow-up conversations. Honorable Rymer added, We also received interest from one airline with respect to charter options to the mainland USA, which is possibly with the support of some of our industry partners. Another popular airline is very interested in considering a code share with a ferry service to the BVI from St. Thomas. We also discussed with certain airlines how they can factor into our route development plans to make it easier for persons in more U.S. states to connect with flights to come to the BVI. Minister Rymer said while the current runway length at Reef Island was a prohibitive factor, airlines indicated they would be anxious to come to the BVI as soon as the runway is extended. He said they told us they are seeing that a significant number of their passengers have the VI as their final destination, so they know our potential once it becomes possible for them to land and take off. They have no doubt, he said, about the viability of our destination. This kind of interest and information will be very handy as we continue working on our plans for extending the runway. While seeking direct flights between the VI and the U.S. mainland was a high priority, the delegation's aim was also including increasing overall aviation connectivity to the territory and the overall volume of flights and passengers coming through its airports, as well as promoting the VI as a top quality and high-value tourist destination, and of course, attracting more visitors. The delegation met with executives from 8 airlines, including American Airlines, JetBlue, Air Canada, Spirit, Frontier Airlines, and United Airlines, among others. Officials of the 2 airports authorities, one tourism body and one airport management company. The annual Routes World event is the premier global forum for the commercial aviation industry. It brings together the global route development community with over 2,500 major service providers in all aspects of the industry from around the world under one roof. The event is attended by senior executives of Airports Authority, airlines, destinations, and other stakeholders who use routes to make introductions, establish and build networks, promote destinations and services, host extensive meeting opportunities, and provide exclusive industry insight on airlift and destination. This year's event was held from October 16th to the 18th. Among the opportunities for route development and increasing airlift to the Virgin Islands generated in the talks was the potential for further cooperation with the airports authorities of St. Martin and Guadeloupe. Additionally, emerging from the discussions, officials from St. Martin and Puerto Rico indicated that improvements can be expected to their facilities, which would enhance the experience for passengers traveling through their airports to get to and from the Virgin Islands. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. I want to thank you so much for joining us. We are 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news right here on Tortola, Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to, of course, visit us at our social media platforms, our website at 284media.com. Of course, we are on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. We are your source for honest and impartial news. Have a beautiful rest of the day. A happy Tuesday to one and all. Bye-bye.
Brilliant Hands and Minds tutoring services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must stop cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Top up power.
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top up power?